on a distant moon orbiting a giant gas planet where icy mountains and deep, shadowy craters blanketed the landscape, a small colony of human scientists had set up a research outpost. They were studying the strange, shifting lights that often danced across the horizon, an unexplained phenomenon that had puzzled astronomers for centuries. The moon's perpetual twilight made it an eerie place to live, and the gravity, only half that of Earth, made movements feel slow and weightless. Scientists had noticed faint traces of organic compounds in the ice crust and hoped it would be the key to finding life beyond Earth. One evening, as Dr. Mira Evers was analyzing samples in the lab, she noticed a strange flicker on the monitor displaying the planet's horizon. At first, she thought it was just another one of the unpredictable atmospheric displays, but the lights grew brighter and closer, flickering in unnatural, coordinated patterns. Mira called in her colleagues, and together they watched in stunned silence as a massive, sleek, obsidian vessel descended, looming just beyond the research station. The communication system crackled, then fell silent. Their equipment picked up nothing from the approaching ship. No radiation, no radio signals, just an overwhelming, bone-chilling quiet. Dr. Evers felt an inexplicable sense of dread, a sense that whoever, or whatever, was on that ship had no interest in talking. The aliens made their presence known in an instant. Beams of light shot out from the vessel, scanning the icy surface, cutting through the rock like a hot knife through butter. Researchers scrambled as vibrations rattled their entire outpost, knocking equipment and people to the floor. Their leader, a towering figure clad in a suit of shimmering, liquid-like metal, descended from the ship with an aura of calm and cold authority. He was unlike anything the scientists had imagined. His skin was transparent, revealing shifting colors of blue, green, and a phosphorescent purple that pulsed like a heartbeat. His eyes were bright orbs, cold and expressionless. The scientists backed away, knowing they were helpless, but there was a strange curiosity in the alien leader's gaze. He scanned them in a quick, efficient motion, and in an instant, they realized that he was assessing them, not as individuals, but as a collective species, understanding their biology, intelligence, and perhaps their usefulness. Before Dr. Evers could say anything, a wave of energy engulfed her. She felt her mind open, flooded with alien images, strange worlds, dying stars, civilizations conquered and controlled. They weren't just here to study or explore. They were seeking to expand, to harvest the moon and transform it into an outpost for their empire, a waypoint in their galactic conquest. Resistance was futile, they knew. The aliens moved swiftly, disassembling the humans' equipment, cataloging every piece of technology, and reshaping it with their own devices. One by one, the scientists were placed into cryogenic pods, held in suspended animation as specimens for later study. When Mira finally awoke, it was no longer on her familiar moon, but in the dark belly of the alien ship. Outside, through a small porthole, she saw the research station as nothing but ruins, overrun with alien structures and bioluminescent towers that pulsed like the alien leader's strange, cold eyes. Her new home was an alien world now, and she was its first human prisoner, her cries unheard against the vast, silent darkness of space. Mira is guided down a series of glowing hallways by a small, hovering drone. It brings her to a massive laboratory filled with containment chambers, each holding creatures from different planets, some bizarre, others terrifying. She realizes that the aliens have been collecting life forms from across the galaxy. The sight fills her with dread as she realizes humans are now among their specimens, captured and studied like insects. Mira, desperate to understand the alien leader's motives, tries to initiate communication. She senses that the leader's thoughts resonate through a neural connection, images and emotions flooding her mind. Through these fragmented thoughts, she glimpses a vision of the aliens' dying home world and their urgent mission to conquer new territories to survive. Mira feels a fleeting sympathy but steels herself. She must find a way to warn Earth before it's too late. Mira manages to free one of her colleagues, Dr. Yuan, from a pod, and together they attempt to escape. They traverse Erie, twisting tunnels lined with organic-like structures that seem alive, pulsing as they walk. Strange symbols and unknown markings glow faintly on the walls, and the temperature fluctuates as they move deeper into the ship. Every few steps, they freeze, listening for any sounds of pursuit. Mira and Dr. Yuan stumble upon the war room, a grand chamber with holographic projections of star systems and planets marked with red symbols. They realize the aliens have mapped out their next targets, with Earth prominent among them. Alien leaders gather, discussing their plans in an unintelligible language. Mira and Yuan must find a way to disrupt the ship's systems before their own planet becomes another victim. As Mira and Dr. Yuan are discovered by alien guards, they split up to increase their chances of escape. Yuan stays behind to create a diversion, sacrificing himself to give Mira a chance to reach the ship's control center. She glimpses him bravely fighting off the aliens, his last words echoing in her mind as she runs. Get back to Earth. They need to know. Mira reaches the control center, where she frantically searches for a way to sabotage the ship. She locates the main power core and sets off a controlled overload, destabilizing the ship's systems. With alarms blaring and the ship descending into chaos, she finds an escape pod. She initiates the pod's launch sequence just as the ship begins to break apart, escaping into the vastness of space, hoping the distress signal reaches Earth. After drifting for days, Myra's escape pod is finally rescued by a human spacecraft. Exhausted and traumatized, she recounts her story, warning Earth of the imminent threat. But as she looks out the window at the star-filled void, a single thought haunts her. If the aliens could travel to her distant colony, they might already be on their way to Earth.